Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your tribal god of extreme, Peter Joseph here for video number 2 on your late Thursday night, April the 17th, 2025 and for all my people on the replay crew, you great people, it is now April the 18th, 2025, Easter weekend, ladies and gentlemen. It's Good Friday, so be good on Good Friday. If not, God's gonna kick your ass. But I digress. But anyway, thanks for watching on the former home of the Gilmore Chronicles, now known as the Shadows Lair, the very dark and evil Shadows Lair. And this is episode number 66 of the Shadows Lair 2.0 series. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like the video, hit that subscribe button down there in the Shadows Lair, otherwise known as my pants, in the description box below. So subscribe to that channel and my other channels as well. Show your love and support. Leave a comment on the video if you like, but don't leave stupid comments. You will get sent to the Shadow Realm where Satan will eat your soul. So please do not do that. Be respectful of the channel. If not, get out of here. Go to your dead channel and do your own shit there. That's pretty much it. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Share the video all over the internet. Don't forget to tap and slap that goddamn bell. And turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one. Because if you miss the next one, you're pretty much SOL. And you know what that means. And if you don't know what it means, look it up. And that's that. And if you're brand new here, for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, well, as we say in the business, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax, and grab yourself that nice cold one. Put your feet up and enjoy the show. And like I said, if you like it, hit that thumbs up button. Stick that thumb straight up the wahoo. And if you don't like it, well, get out of here and go watch somebody else. Or pretty much go fuck yourself. And that's all I gotta say about that. You like it? Great. You don't? Get out. Simple as that. And welcome to all the newbies. And that's all I gotta say about that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is after midnight here in the Northeast, April the 17th, 2025, or like I said before, for all my people on the replay crew, it is now Friday, April the 18th, 2025, Good Friday! So, hopefully you all have a good Friday later on tomorrow. And it's Easter weekend, Easter Saturday. We got WrestleMania coming up. We got the SmackDown before Mania. Should be a great show. Roman's going to be on the show. Cena's going to be on the show. Cody and pretty much everybody's going to be on the show tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting show. And then we got the Hall of Fame right after that at 1 a.m. here in the Northeast. So it's going to be a great night of action. The Bloodsport happened tonight, and heard some good things about it. Natalya was at it. Killer Cross was at it. I think Miyu Yamashita was at it. Probably killed somebody, but good stuff in Vegas for pretty much the first day of WrestleMania week. We got more tomorrow with the kickoff show at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I believe that's 6 p.m. I think it's 4 p.m. Yeah, it's 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Mountain Time. That's Vegas time for the kickoff show, which is going to be outside the T-Mobile Arena, where SmackDown's going to be at. Raw's going to be out there on Monday after Mania Night 2, and Stunned and Deliver Saturday afternoon, beginning at 1 p.m. here in the East Coast, and that's pretty much 10 a.m. local time. And then we got night 1 of Mania Saturday night and Sunday night for night 2. So WrestleMania season is here. Easter's here on Sunday. So we're gonna have a nice meal, watch some baseball with the Mets and maybe the Yankees, and then we're gonna have our meal and then watch WrestleMania night 2. And that's that. Then we got the Raw after Mania, which should be some exciting shit in Vegas. And then we're pretty much back to normal on Tuesday with NXT after Stand and Deliver on a road to Battleground, which is the same day as Double or Nothing, which I think is ridiculous, but it is what it is. And that's that. And then for WWE, the main roster, we'll be on the road to Backlash. Pretty much 3 weeks from Saturday is Backlash. And that's all I gotta say about that. Alright, check out my previous video. I did my AEW Dynamite review for Spring Breakthrough. Now Dynamite is supposedly the longest running episodic program on Turner Broadcasting, even though WCW Saturday Night holds that by a few episodes, but we'll have that. But I talked about that, the great show that it was last night. So check it out. Link will be down below in the description box with that. And after I do this video, I'm going to do my Collision review. And then tomorrow we'll talk about NXT, TNA, and Ring of Honor. And then get you ready for SmackDown tomorrow night. And then I'll try to do the SmackDown review as well as my WrestleMania predictions coming early Saturday or Saturday afternoon, depending on what I am doing. But I got that. And we'll do an Easter vlog probably on Monday sometime. But so lots of videos coming your way over the next 3-4 days. So stay tuned. Please hit that bell, because if you miss anything, oh boy, you missed a lot. And that's that. Alright, on episode number 66, as we're getting closer to that epic number 69, and closer to the Diamond Show, bang! Episode 75, which will probably be sometime this summer or early fall. Well, we'll get there. So, episode 66 of the Shadow Slayer 2.0 series. As the title below says, it is time for your official NXT Stand and Deliver 2025 predictions. NXT Stand and Deliver comes your way Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. on whatever you're gonna watch it from. That's pretty much it. I think on Netflix as well. So, and it's from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's that. Alright, 8 total matches, 1 on the pre-show, which we haven't had a pre-show match on NXT for a long time. So, as always, I'm going to run down the card, top to bottom this time. I don't know if the order on the Wikipedia page is going to be the order of the matches. We'll have to see what happens with that. Alright, so on the pre-show, which starts at 12:30, I believe, or 12 or 12:30, we only have one match, and that's going to be a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Elimination match to determine the number 1 contenders for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, which will be defended on this Tuesday. Now, whoever wins that match between Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan who are going to be taking on Bayley, give me a hug, and Lyra Valkyria at Mania, will be facing the winner of this match on Tuesday night on NXT. Alright, so the participants as follows. And I'm going to start off with the Meta Girls, Last Legend, Big Chick Gun, and the beautiful Jakar Miss Jackson if you're nasty with that lollipop. She can suck my lollipop all night long. They take on the lovely ladies of Fatal Influence, Fallon, don't call her the Dawn, Henley, and my girl, Casey Jane, and also Jasmine Nix, another one of my hotties, she'll be there at ringside. They take on, used to be called Chemical X, but now they're just called Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan, who are on TNA tonight. We got that, and they're going to be taking on well, they kind of reunited again, Roxy and Cora Jade. Cora Jade reunited with Roxy on NXT this past Tuesday night because Roxy was looking for a partner. I don't think she has many friends in NXT that would team with her, but Cora Jade had nothing to do at Mania and Stand and Deliver, so I was like, hey, let's team up again, why not? Before Roxy, well, pretty much Roxy's on the main roster, even though she jobbed out on SmackDown to Tiffy Tiff. But, we got that. All these ladies looking, were even in line for the TNA tag team titles, except for Roxy and Cora Jade. And, Tatum and Gigi lost to Heather and Ash by Elegance, a few weeks back on TNA TV. And, we got that. I am hoping and praying they give it a metaphor once again, and then they beat Liv and Raquel. I mean, they already fought Liv and Raquel, and they lost, which sucks. But, so I'm going to go with Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson to once again pick up the victory. I'd like to see Roxanne and Cora get it, and then maybe face off against Bayley and Lyra, who I think will win the belts at Mania. Because you're going to do that Roxanne Bayley feud, which we really have no ending with. So, we can see Roxanne and Cora win the tag team belts again, but hopefully Cora doesn't turn on Roxy like they did the first time, which their title reign only lasted a day. Or a week, or whatever it was. And that's that. So I'm going to go with the Meta Girls to pick up the win, and we'll see what happens with that. And we move on. Alright, let's start off the main show with a 6-way ladder match for the vacant NXT Women's North American Championship, which Stephanie Foucault had, but since she won both belts from Julia, she won the NXT Women's title from Julia at Madison Square Garden a few weeks back, she decided to drop the NXT Women's North American Championship. I thought they were going to unify it, but obviously not. But, we got that. So we had qualifying matches over the last couple weeks, and the participants will be Delta, Kaylani Jordan, Sol Ruka, the resident surfer girl, Bookie Hogan 2.0, Izzy Dame, Lola Faisese, and the woman who returned on Tuesday night used to be in Chase You, the woman who smokes more weed than Booker T, and that's Thea Hale. Alright, this should be a pretty good match. Lots of spots galore, with Kaylani and Sol, jumping off the ladder. Delta just gonna be using brute force with the ladder. Lola Vice maybe doing some weird stuff. Thea Hale, who knows? I'm probably gonna throw out Izzy Dame. I'd love for Lola to win it. I don't think they will give it to her. I think it's going to come down to Delta and maybe Thea Hale. So I'm going to go with Delta to pick up the victory and win her first major championship in NXT and in the US as well. So I'm going to go with Delta to become the new NXT Women's North American Champion. And pretty much all the ladies from Japan that came over from Japan, Julia was already NXT Women's Champion, Stephanie Foucault is now the Women's Champion, and was the former NXT Women's North American Champion, and now Delta will complete the trifecta of women from Japan who have held NXT, some type of NXT Gold. So I got that. But so I'm going to go with Delta to pick up the win. Alright. Speaking of Julia, fatal 4-way match for the NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie Foucault, who basically got beat up by these three ladies last week, and that's returning Julia, Jordynne Grace, and Jada Parker. I think anybody can win this besides Jada. That would be like the swerve of the century if Jada Parker wins the NXT Women's Championship. But, if they give it to Julia, it kind of make Stephanie's reign as champ meaningless because, like, why did you have her win the belt to lose it a couple weeks later to Julia? Kind of makes no sense. You know, Jordan winning, you know, will be kind of like the icing on the cake, you know, because she's been multiple-time TNA Knockouts champion, and she'll win her first belt in WWE. So, I mean, it could go either way. I'm going to go with my girl Julia. I'm being a little bit biased, but I'm going to go with Julia to get her belt back. I know it sucks for people that think that, but we shall see what happens with that. But I'm going to go with Julia to pick up the victory. But I wouldn't be surprised if Stephanie retains, and then they do Stephanie versus Julia one-on-one rematch at Battleground. And that's that. Alright, then we got a tag team match player for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Well, we have Fraxium, Ben Frazier, and A-Kid, Axiom, taking on the new number one contenders. They won the gauntlet match this week, and that's Hank and Spank. You know, who ran through pretty much the entire tag team roster to beat, they beat Catchpoint 3.0, they beat Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igve, what else they beat? They beat The Culling, and I think they beat somebody else. Yeah, I think they beat like two more teams. Oh, that's one or two more teams to shockingly get this title match. Are they going to win? I doubt it. If they do, I think it's a slap in the face to the tag team belts, but then again, who is going to beat Fraxium at this point? So, unless they bring somebody down from the main roster, then who knows? But I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Fraxium to pick up the victory and continue on as forever tag team champions, because I can't see two security guards winning the titles. I just can't. So we'll see what happens with that, and we move on. All right. Then we got the men's North American title on the line. We have the new champ, Absolute Ricky Starks, taking on former NXT World Champion All Ego Ethan Page. Alright, Ricky winning the belt from Shawn Spears a couple weeks ago, and this week on NXT, Ethan Page won that fatal 4-way to get to him as Ethan beat Lexis King, DJ Nightwolf, and Wes Lee to get the shot. Obviously, it was obvious anyway, since Ethan Page did attack Ricky Starks a few weeks ago. Then he attacked him. Then Ricky got a measure of revenge this past week, spearing Ethan Page out of his boots. So, two former AEW guys going at it. Should be a good match, but I'm going to go with Ricky Starks to retain the title over Ethan Page. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ethan on the main roster after Mania. That too. And we'll go with that. So I'm going to go with Ricky Starks to retain the NXT North American title. And that's that. Alright, this match got added this past Tuesday night. We got a 6-man tag team match. And this emanated from the parking lot brawl with the D'Angelo family. With my cousin, Tony D'Angelo, gets you a pizza for $2. Well, gets me a pizza for $2. You get it for $22.50. That's that. So we had that. So it's going to be Tony D, Channing Stacks, Lorenzo, the underboss, and Luca Crucifino, the resident consigliere. He lives downstairs from you, with the lovely Adriana Rizzo at ringside. They're going to be taking on Deuces and Jokers, otherwise known as Dark State. And it's going to be a combination of Dion Lennox, Cutler James, Saquon Sugars, or Sugar Ali, and or Osiris Griffin. So any one of those four men will be teaming up. And they did team up last week to take on Oba over Javon Evans and Trick Williams, and they get the win. And it was on Dion, Cutler James, and Shaquan Sugars as Osiris Griffin was at ringside. He did get involved in near the end of the match, so we haven't seen him in the ring yet, but we got that. It should be a good match. You have to look at Channing Stacks Lorenzo over the last couple of weeks. He's kind of taking things a little bit too far, and Tony D's like, hey, you're the underboss. You can't keep making these decisions. I make the decisions. And Stacks is a little bit, he's like, he's sorry. And then Tony's talking to him about the good old days when, I used to, help you out with bullies and stuff like that. But Tony knows, my cousin knows, he sees in Channing Stacks Lorenzo's eyes that he wants to be the top dog. He wants to be the Don of NXT and the Don of the family. And I really think that Stacks is going to turn on the family, turn on Tony D, and pretty much, go his own way. I don't think he's going to join Dark State, but you never know. But I'm going to go. I hate to do this to my cousin. I'm sorry. I know he's not going to give me my chicken parmesan hero tomorrow night. He'll still give it to me anyway. I'll force him to. Anyway, so I'm going to go with Dark State to pick up the win because they're, they've been running amok so far. And, I just don't see him losing any momentum the way it is right now. I mean, they got their butts kicked in that parking lot brawl. But I think at Stand and Deliver, they'll get their revenge on the D'Angelo family as Stacks turns on the family, turns on Tony D, and eventually him and Tony D might have a match to see who becomes the Don of NXT, and then maybe Stacks becomes the Don or something like that. Or maybe the family turns on Tony D. You never know, but we'll see what happens with that. But I'm going to go with Dark State to win because of Stacks turning on Tony, and that's pretty much it. And in our main event of Stand and Deliver, my friends, we got a triple threat match for the NXT World Heavyweight title. We got the champion, the big man from Wakanda, the Gula, Femi, taking on Trick Willie Shamon, the former champion, and taking on Mr. Bouncy, otherwise known as Tigger, Javon Evans. This should be a great match. Trick trying to get his belt back from Oba, and Javon already put down Oba a couple of times. He's kind of like the outsider looking in, and Oba and Trick are like, well, we don't have to worry about you, and Javon's like, hey, you should worry about me now. And we saw it this past Tuesday where Javon took out Trick and Oba in the ring and then held up the belt. Not that he's going to win the belt. So we got that. I'm going to go with Oba to retain. I think Trick Willie will be going to the main roster after Mania. And then Oba's going to need challengers. I don't know who's next for Oba at this point. Then again, he could lose the belt back to Trick Willie. Oba goes to the main roster. I mean, we'll see. But I don't think Oba's going up to the main roster probably till the end of the year or maybe by next WrestleMania. Or unless he gets drafted, but we don't even know when the draft is yet, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with all that. So I'm going to go with Oba to retain the NXT World title. Alright, and that's it for my predictions for Stand and Deliver. So let me know what your predictions are for Stand and Deliver in the comment section, and that's it. Quick recap before we end shop, ladies and gentlemen. So on the pre-show, I got Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson become the new number one contenders for the women's tag team titles, and they will face, most likely, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, who will win, I think, on WrestleMania Saturday or Sunday, whenever that match is. And then that match on Tuesday, we'll have the Meta Girls taking on Bayley and Lyra. But like I said, I would not be surprised if they give it to Roxanne Perez and Corey Jade because of the whole Roxy Bayley connection. So we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so that's on the pre-show. And on the main show, I got Delta to become the new NXT Women's North American Champion for the very first time in that 6-way vacant ladder match. I got that. I got Julia to regain her NXT Women's Championship over Stephanie Vaquer, Jordan Grace, and Jada Parker. I got Fraxium to easily retain over Hank and Spank. I got Ricky Starks to retain the North American title over All Ego Ethan Page. I got Dark State to defeat the D'Angelo family and my cuz too, with Stacks turning on Tony. Got that. And in the main event, like I said before, for the NXT title, I got Femi to retain over Trick Willie and Mr. Bouncy Javon Evans. And that's that. Alright, that is my predictions for Stand and Deliver. Should be a great show. This Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. here on the East Coast. And we'll see what happens with that. And then we'll be on the road to NXT Battleground Memorial Day weekend, the same day as AEW Double or Nothing, which will be in Phoenix. I believe NXT Battleground will be in Tampa Bay. So we got that. And a whole lot more. Alright, so leave me your predictions down below in the comments section. And that's pretty much it. Alright guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to have a late night snack. And then I'm going to record my NXT review for the TV show. So, for this past Tuesday's episode, I'm going to do that over on my Peter Joseph channel. So, your triple threat on your Thursday for that ace. And that's that. Then we'll talk about Collision tomorrow, early tomorrow afternoon. We'll do TNA and Ring of Honor as well. And we'll do SmackDown maybe tomorrow night if we get the chance. We'll see what happens, because it's going to be a busy weekend with SmackDown. We got Stand and Deliver in the afternoon on Saturday, then Saturday night, night 1 of WrestleMania. And then on Sunday, we have just night 2 of WrestleMania and nothing before that. But we got all that. Alright. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let's go, Mets! Get off the schneid, off that back-to-back losses for the first time in their of the season. Losing 2 or 3 to the Twinkies, which they should have swept them, but it is what it is. But came back to Citi Field tonight. Great pitching performance by Griffin Canning. 6 innings, 1-1 ball. Mets got 4 runs early and held on to win 4-1 in the first of a 4-game series with St. Louis. The game 2 tomorrow with David Peterson on the mound. That is a 7 o'clock start. And then a 4 o'clock start on Saturday. And then a 1:30 start on Easter Sunday with Clay Holmes on the mound. Senga will be pitching that game on Saturday. And we'll see what happens with that. Mets are 11 and 6 on the year. 1 game up on the Filthies, who will be coming into New York, into Citi Field on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoon. And then next weekend, the Mets will be in Washington, D.C. briefly before they come back home to start the end the month against, I believe, Arizona, the Diamondbacks, and then they go on the road for Arizona and St. Louis. And then in 3 weeks, and actually, 4 weeks from now, from Saturday, the start of the Subway Series in the construction site. That's May 16th, 17th, and 18th. So that's the Subway Series Part 1 of the 2025 season. And that's pretty much it. And final game for the Rangers at home at the Garden, beating Tampa Bay 4-0. Sam Rosen's final game on MSG. A legend. he is retiring after many years with the Rangers broadcast. So, my congratulations go out to Sam Rosen, and Kenny Albert will be doing the play-by-play with Joe Micheletti on the MSG broadcast next season. As we all know, the Rangers have been eliminated from the playoffs, as well as I think the Islanders are out too. The Bruins are out. Pittsburgh is out too. So, I believe the Florida Panthers are in the playoffs. The Stanley Cup champions, so still they're going to be defending their title. And we'll see what happens as on Saturday, the NBA and NHL playoffs start on TNT, and I think TBS as well. So we got that. So Collision will be preempted some weeks. For the next couple months. Next week's Collision will be after the NBA playoffs, so it could be like 10, 11 o'clock. Who knows? But it's after the playoffs, so I would assume around 10, between 10 and 11 o'clock. But check your local listings, set your DVRs accordingly. I know, you don't have an exact time, but, just stay tuned after the NBA playoffs next Saturday night for a taped edition of Collision. And that's that. And they're going to be most likely taped. But there is, in I think June or July, in Portland, Oregon, there's going to be a 4 hour show from Portland. So that should be fun. I think it's just going to be one big show. It's going to be like Dynamite and Collision right back-to-back nights. But that's, I think it's in June. So we'll see what happens with that. Check the local listings for when that show goes on the air. And that's it. Alright guys, I am out of here. Like I said, I'm going to go have my late night snack and then record my NXT review for this week. And then, that's it. And then I'm going to go to bed, get up tomorrow, half day of work because it's Good Friday. And then I'm off pretty much for Easter weekend, go back on Tuesday. So that's that. So we'll talk about Collision tomorrow. That's the first out of the gate. Then we'll talk about TNA and Ring of Honor real quick, and then get you ready for SmackDown later in the night. I might do my WrestleMania predictions early, maybe tomorrow as well, and then hold off on SmackDown to maybe early Saturday. I have to see about that. I might not even do SmackDown. I know it will pertain to Mania, but I'll see. I'll see what happens tomorrow. Whether I do the predictions first or we do SmackDown first, then the predictions early on. Even though I have to do a quick 3-minute short, but we'll see what happens with that. So we'll get there. We'll get the reviews. Hopefully, get the reviews up for Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania Night 1 and 2 in one video. I'm not going to do separately. I'm going to do it Night 1 and Night 2 in one big video. Probably be on Monday. And we'll see what happens with that. But it's time. It's almost time, ladies and gentlemen. WrestleMania, pretty much a little over 48 hours away. Saturday night at 7 o'clock. With the pre-show at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Stand and Deliver at 1 p.m. Saturday afternoon. And that'll lead us right into that. Into the pre-show for WrestleMania Night 1. And that's that. Alright, so I know a lot of people are going to be heading to Vegas tomorrow. I know some people are there now. So hopefully they're having fun at the at Bloodsport and other events that happen, tonight. Tonight, and happening tomorrow, happening Saturday and Sunday with WWE World. We got the Hall of Fame tomorrow night, which should be great. Triple H, Michelle McCool, the Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon, Lex Luger. we got Stone Cold and Bret Hart getting inducted for the iconic match Hall of Fame award, and we got Dory Funk Dory Funk Jr., Ivan Koloff, and Kamala, all being inducted in the Legacy wing of the Hall of Fame. So that's gonna be some good stuff. We got The Undertaker inducting his wife, obviously. Shawn Michaels inducting Triple H. DDP inducting Lex Luger, and CM Punk inducting Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret the Hitman Hart with the iconic match for the iconic match for WrestleMania 13. I don't know who's inducting the Natural Disasters. Might be Jimmy Hart. I don't know, but we'll see what happens with that. And for the Legacy Award, I don't even know. So we'll see what happens with that tomorrow night at the Hall of Fame. That will be at 1 a.m. here on YouTube. Or if you want to watch it on Netflix, go ahead. SmackDown at 8, as always, on the USA Network. And if you're going to be in Vegas tomorrow, the kickoff show before WrestleMania will be outside the parking lot at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. And that begins at I forgot what time I think it starts at 4 p.m. I think 4 or 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's 6 o'clock here. So we can watch. We can all watch it on YouTube. Should be some interesting stuff. But it is the night before WrestleMania Night 1. So we'll see all the craziness that happens tomorrow on SmackDown. And that's that. And then after Mania, we got the SmackDown and Raw after Mania, which should be great. Got NXT after Mania. And then we calm down for a little bit. Then we're on the road to Backlash, May the 10th. And then 2 weeks after that, we are on the road to NXT Battleground. And don't forget, we have Saturday's main event, May the 24th, I believe. Wherever that's going to be. I think it's going to be in Tampa. And then we got Double or Nothing in Phoenix, the same day as Battleground. And then we got the Memorial Day edition of Raw right after that. And then the NXT after Battleground. And then we'll be on the road to June, which I believe has, I think June is I think it might be Money in the Bank. And then we'll keep going through the summer, all the way, for WWE purposes, till August 1st and 2nd, with SummerSlam in MetLife Stadium. We also got All In, coming for AEW in July, Slammiversary in July for TNA. Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow. Supercard of Honor 19 in Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's going to be good. So we'll see what happens with that. And then we got Death Before Dishonor in July. That's July the 11th, the night before All In. So lots of good stuff coming your way this summer. I'll most likely be here for all of it. Through the entire summer. Probably up till September. Probably till about Labor Day weekend. And then we'll see what happens with that. And we'll see what happens. Alright guys, I am really out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody. And until next time, if you're not down with that, I got 3 words for you. Fuck you, man. And that's it. Until next time, my friends. Peace. Bitches.